How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
You mentioned that sophomore year you'll have a scouting report on you. They're taking things away that they saw last year. What exactly do you feel like you've had to add? Like, what's been taken away from it right now?
I don't necessarily know if it's like fully taken away. I think for me, just being able to get in my rhythm is important for me. These past few games, I don't really think I've gotten in the best rhythm that I can, but I mean, that's the beauty of having a bunch of other teammates that just continue to do what they do. I mean, no matter what, if I'm not in rhythm, your teammates hitting their shots, playing the way they need to play. And my goal is also not to let that affect the defensive end. And so I'm just really thankful that I have the players I do around me that just continue to hoop.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it feels like at South Carolina you got really used to defense leading in your offense. Is that helpful for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a priority. If you want to get stops, you want to defend. And, being a post player, you're definitely playing against the best post in the entire world. And so just being ready for that.
What has been the biggest adjustment with adding on a star like Caitlin Clark to the team, and how have you kind of adjusted and made that kind of a priority as you guys get adjusted?
Yeah, I mean, every time we bring a new player in, whether that's through free agency or through the draft, I mean, it's always important that you're able to gel together, and I think that's something that we've been working, not just me and Caitlin, but everyone, with all the new ones that we have here. And so, I mean, it's been great. I mean, when you watch the games, you're able to see what happens when we just continue to play together. And so I'm really excited. I know these past 5 games haven't been exactly how we wanted to start, but it's about just being resilient, being determined to continue to push through no matter what.
What are some of your goals personally for this season to just kind of, get into the rhythm and make sure that you guys achieve the ultimate goals?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is, one, being consistent, but also understanding what's important for the team. I think we say this all the time, is giving up the meat for the wheat. You want to make sure you're doing everything that the team needs. That light's kind of like making me sweat a little bit.
Right? Okay. Also, I just have to ask you, obviously there's been this adjustment and there's been the new collective bargaining agreement. With the adjustments, there's been the charter flights. What have you guys kind of seen in terms of the growth of WNBA as a team in, and also just like how you kind of adjust?
Yeah, charter flights, I'm so thankful that they're here. It just makes it so much easier to get to where you need to be, and be able to spend the night in your bed, whether that's you're coming home right after a game. I mean, in college, that's what we're used to. And so it's really great. I think it's been overdue, but it's always about just being thankful that it's here now and we get to use it.
How have you been able to, how have the team been able to stay together throughout the first 5 games? Still, even though you guys have kind of struggled the first 5 games?
We knew this journey wasn't going to be easy. We know that we're young. We're not using that as an excuse either way, because we come in and we compete. The last 2 games have been really close. And so just being able to go back and look at that and understand where we can grow from there. And I mean, the wins are going to come. They really are, because God has a plan always. And so we use this as stepping stones to where we're going to be. And so we just continue to trust the process and Him.
Aliyah, how have you guys been able to just deal with the difference makers as far as going to every arena now that it's sold out? We got crowds coming to see you all, obviously Caitlin Clark with yourself included, the rest of the team. How have you all been able to adjust with that and kind of just focus on the task at hand, just win the ball?
Yeah, I mean, just looking around, everyone in this practice facility right now are used to playing in arenas that were sold out, that were packed. And so we just continue to enjoy the energy, use it to our advantage, and just play.
You mentioned out of college that one of the things you wanted to work on was your pick and roll game. How do you feel like that has progressed into this season?
Yeah, we've been able to do that a few times in between our games. It's really good. Just being able to read, because everyone's pulling over, they're understanding that, and so just being able to adjust each and every game depending on what the defensive scheme is.
How comfortable are you feeling in that short roll?
Feeling pretty comfortable. Just being able to take that shot, I think that's going to be important versus continuously going down and banging all the time. Of course, thank you guys.
Caitlin, can you talk about your biggest adjustment, just transitioning in from college to the WNBA, everything that's going on, all the eyes are on you? Can you talk about how much fun you having and all the adjustment that you made?
Yeah, I think, it's just a very quick turnaround. This is what, day 25 of being together as a team, and we've already played 5 games. It's very quick. We don't have much time to adjust, and that's just the reality of what it is. So you kind of have to accept it and learn from game to game. I think the last 2 games we put ourselves in very, very good opportunities to win the game. It's just like the little things that are just killing us right now. So, you can't get too down on yourself. That's just going to lead to more losses. So continue to find ways to win. Win the day, whether it's practice, whether it's the film you're watching, just find ways to improve. I got to give credit to my teammates. Like, they just come in with such a positive attitude every single day, and that's really all that you can ask.
What has Aliyah Boston been able to help you with, her being on this journey a year ago? What has she been able to do? Some of the advice that she's been able to give you to be able to help you adjust and be able to focus, on your craft?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Aliyah, like coming in here, I think her leadership has been amazing. Like she's been one of the biggest voices in our locker room. She's been somebody that's been there to pick me up. I've been there to pick her up. And we're navigating this together. Like it's hard opposing a point guard trying to create that connection, that chemistry within 20 days and 5 games, and everybody's expecting so much. So I think it's just a learning process, and that will only continue to get better. I think the pace that we want to play on is a little bit different than what they played at last year. So continuing to get comfortable with that. But I think overall, Aliyah's just like overall leadership and her voice in our locker room has been tremendous.
In terms of like the high pressure situations, obviously you came in like a storm. It's an adjustment, just meaning coming from college and getting into the WNBA. What would you say has like been the biggest challenge for you, and what would you say are your goals in terms of just getting adjusted and making sure that you're setting a tone for your team?
Yeah, I think just the quick turnaround has been the biggest adjustment. I think the physicality has been an adjustment. I think the biggest thing for us going forward to continue to set the tone, I think we need to have better starts in our games. It feels like we're always fighting from being down, and that's a really tough position to put your teammates in, especially the ones that are coming off the bench and trying to give really solid minutes. Like it feels like we're always continuing to try to claw back from 5 points, 8 points, and we usually do. It's just like if we don't put ourselves in those situations, we're gonna have a lot more success.
What is some of the advice that some of the veterans gave as far as just the adjustment period, the learning curve? Some people took it as hate. Did you take it more of like wisdom because they hadn't played in the league that you're entering into, as far as listening to some of their advice?
Yeah.
Of that nature?
Yeah, I think it's, everybody's going to have an adjustment period no matter what type of job you have in your life. Like, you start a new job, like, you're going to have to learn the ropes and learn how it goes. It's the same for me. This is a new job for myself. Like, I'm not going to come in here and know exactly how everything works, how this organization works, how this league works. Like, it's an adjustment period for myself, too. It's, learning as I go. And, really, you're just thrown right into the fire. And maybe that's the best way to learn. And maybe at times, you're going to have some hard lessons to learn because you're playing games right off the bat. But I think our vets have done a great job, whether it's been Kelsey, whether it's been Erica, of like, being there, having my back, and, coaching me on the side, coaching me during timeouts and games, and just learning, through those moments, whether they're good or whether they're bad. There's always a really good learning opportunity there.
Just back to Aliyah for a second. What do you feel like you guys do best on the court together?
Yeah, I think our pick and roll game, and that's exactly what we kind of want to get more of. I think getting more of that action is going to be very successful for us. I think especially in transition, coming down, getting some drag screens set when the defense isn't set. Yeah, I think that's going to be more successful for us. Whether she can get the ball right in the middle of the paint and make a lead out of there.
Caitlin, now that you've played a few games in the W, like what's been one of the biggest adjustments for you so far in transitioning from college into the W?
Like I said, I think the physicality. I think the pace at which you have to learn. Like coaches installing new stuff every single day. There's not a lot of time to go over it. The next day you come back to practice because that's not what you have. We're going practice game. So you've got to learn something at shoot around and be ready to put it into play that night at the game. So I think just the mental preparation that you have to have is a lot different from college.
Also, in terms of just like the transition that the W has had while you've been, kind of the face of the league for lack of a better term, what would you say in terms of what you've seen from the W in terms of charter flights and collective bargaining agreement? What would you like to see as maybe some transitions into the league?
Yeah, I think the league has come a long way, especially in the last few years. I think the viewership numbers have definitely increased. I think the amount of people that are in states, and for me, like that's amazing. I've been somebody that was a young girl coming to these games, supporting this league, and now that's only continuing to grow. I think that's incredible. I think charter flights have been long deserved, so I'm happy for everybody that's been in this league that's now finally getting that. It certainly makes everybody's lives a little bit easier, the recovery a little bit easier, the preparation for the next game is going to be easier, and I think expansion. That's only going to help the league to grow too. As you know, there's only there's less than 144 spots in this league, so there's so much talent in women's basketball across the world, and really this is such a hard league to stay in and to compete in. And now the more expansion we can get, the more eyeballs we can get on this league. So as that continues to grow, I think it's going to be really good for our league.
Time for two more.
It's early, but what has Kelsey meant to you both as a veteran team, but also once she was on the floor, what she meant to you as chemistry with another distributor?
Yeah, I think our chemistry is something that will continue to develop, and obviously Kelsey's coming back from an injury as we begin training camp, so I really haven't had a ton of time to practice with her. Really, the only time we've had together has been on important games as she's been kind of trying to come back from that. But I think her leadership has been great. She's always been somebody that's in my ear, and somebody that really just wants me to do my best. He's always motivating me and having my back and wants me to be successful, and that's something that gives me a lot of confidence too getting to
Tomorrow you guys are playing at Crypto, a huge stage with 3 other top draft picks as well, with Cameron Brooks and King Jackson. How excited are you about tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Obviously, getting to play in Crypto, like just an iconic arena. I expect the crowd to be amazing, and obviously Cam and Rakia, two really great rookies that are doing a lot for the Sparks. So I think it's going to be a great environment. I think it's going to be a great game. I just know the fans will be incredible, and it's just a good display of basketball for everybody to see. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
How do you feel like the partnership between Aliyah and Caitlin is evolving so far?
Yeah, I think it's, we see some good action out of them too. We're just trying to figure out what position on the floor is the best to get them the ball together, where they're either pick and rolls or dribble handoffs. It's hard to do when we're not able to practice and it's happening in games. But, these guys are figuring it out. They're coming in every day, just wanting to get better.
We've asked some of your, star players, but we also want to ask you, what's been the biggest adjustment for you in terms of just, bringing her into the fold, Caitlin, Larkin, and also making sure that both of your stars understand kind of their roles and how you guys can bring success to this franchise?
Yeah, it's exciting to have all this young talent. I mean, it's really exciting, and the future is going to be amazing. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a season. We had a really good year last year with where we were, and in terms of winning 5 games the year before, got 13, and now we've got to keep building. And I think with all this, attention to us, it's kind of made us have to we need to do it now, and that's just not part of that process. But we're caught up in it as well, and just really proud of our players for trying to keep the main thing the main thing. Disappointed in these losses. We put ourselves in a position the last couple games to get some wins.
Obviously, there's this proverbial ceiling of just getting that first win under your belt. But from there, what do you think is the most important part to keeping this a cohesive unit and making sure that your players are all on one accord?
Yeah, just trying to build chemistry. And I think you can do a lot of that not on the court as well. Off the court, building chemistry can help you on the court. These guys just met each other 25 days ago, a lot of them. So, just going to have to take that time and get to know each other on and off the court, build that timing. And then once we get that and some practice time, we can, maybe do some things that we weren't able to do right now without that practice time.
Coach, what have you seen from the two stars like Aliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark as far as being able to develop that chemistry? Caitlin talked about Aliyah's leadership and her voice in the locker room. How much has that helped as well going through the season and not having a whole lot of practice time, like you said, just building that chemistry?
Yeah, we met right at the very first day. We talked, and we talked about leadership. We talked about chemistry. We talked about just team dynamic and how important that was for what we were about to go through. Aliyah is special, and she is a dynamic player. She's a dynamic human. I know she's frustrated right now. She just wants to do whatever it is that we need her to do to win games. She just wants to win, and that's what's so great about her. We started this season out. She's played against the top players, post players in the world. These are Olympians, and so she's just trying to get her rhythm, and she's going to get it. And just hoping that we can get her some good touches and get her some confidence early in the night.
How do you feel like
Have you seen Kelsey jumping back in the swing things from her?
Yeah, she jumped.
Yeah,
she? Yeah. She didn't have a single practice with us the whole preseason and our camp, and her first time to play with our team was actually in the Connecticut game. So I think she is a dynamic player as well. And again, when you have players like her and Caitlin and Leah and Liz, all together, you just got to figure out what works and keep moving in that direction and build that chemistry.
How have you grown as a coach, having this kind of stage, having to coach, some of the best players in the world, but also making sure that you understand, the ultimate goal, which is obviously winning games, winning championships?
Yeah. It's just been a different dynamic this year with where we are, and it's a great thing, and embracing it, It's really just trying to keep our players and have them understand, this is still a work in progress. And, we can't get concerned with what the outsiders are saying or thinking or where we should be right now. We just got to do what we need to do in our circle, keep doing that to the best of our ability, and keep getting better.
Coach, can you talk about how much fun you're having? Like you all said, like there's a lot of eyes on you all this year. They just met, a lot of these players just met 25 days ago. You know, can you talk about that adjustment and how much fun you've been having this season?
Well, winning is fun. Winning's fun. We're having a good time trying to get to that point. And when we do, it's going to be real. I mean, these guys are going to start clicking, and that's when it's going to be fun. Right now, fun is us having time in the gym. Fun for me is seeing them show up every day and give me everything they have. Like, right now, some tough losses, you can really get down. And these guys keep coming back. They keep coming back and doing exactly what we're asking them to do. Like, to hear them, like, that makes me really happy going into a game tomorrow and then a back-to-back against Las Vegas.
Schedule makers obviously haven't done you a ton of favors thus far, but how do you think this opening stretch is going to help you down the line?
Yeah, that's what I keep telling them. Once we get through May, we've got a lot of home games coming up. I mean, we do have another back-to-back next week, but once we get through this rough patch and we've gotten punched and we've got to grow up really fast, and we've got to continue to just keep working on the details of things. Our habits are so important. Like, we've got to keep our habits and not let outside what other people think make us do something that we just aren't supposed to be doing right now.